With ski season approaching, are your knees ready for the slopes? Let's find out in this workout. What's up, rehab? Dr. Lauren Linus, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and I'm stoked to be tackling the ski workout with you all. As someone who grew up in Colorado, skiing is very near and dear to my heart. I loved skiing Winter Park and Breckenridge and Copper growing up. But now as a PT, I have many friends and family who have been affected by knee injuries from skiing. So let's make sure that those knees are bulletproof and ready for the slopes this season. Before we get going, there's a few pieces of equipment that you'll need for today's workout. The first is going to be a wall or some sort of support surface, a mat or a comfortable piece of floor to lay on. You're going to need a step or some sort of elevated surface. That can be a couch, a chair, something along those lines, a weight if you have it, a loop resistance band that we can put around our knees, and last but not least, some sort of wedge or something that we can elevate our heels on. A weight plate works really well, some books, something along those lines. We're gonna start by actually addressing our ankle dorsiflexion. This is important because when we're in that ski position, our knees need to be able to comfortably come over our toes. Now, I recognize that ski boots do force you to be in that position and hold you in that position, but we still want to make sure that our ankle mobility is where it should be. So we're going to start at a wall or a support surface. You are going to take 4 fingers, and I want you to place your toes 4 finger widths from the wall. The goal here is to keep our heel on the ground as we use our hands to drive our knee towards the wall and see how far we can go, okay? This is an ideal position for our knee to be able to advance about that 4 finger width apart. But you may find that maybe you need to scoot your toes closer. So find what feels comfortable for you to be able to get your knee to the wall while keeping your heel on the ground. And that's a really good starting place for us to assess your ankle mobility. Be sure to do it on both sides. This is important. And take note of which side feels different or maybe harder. Does one side feel tighter through the calf? Does one side feel tighter up front in the ankle? This can be a cause of many different things, being previous ankle sprains, maybe you have some capsular tightness, or again, calf tightness. So take note side to side and see which side feels a little bit more sticky, because then the test becomes the exercise. So on that side that feels more sticky, typically for me, that's my right side, I'm going to start here with working on improving that ankle dorsiflexion mobility so we can comfortably stay in that knee over toe position when we're skiing. So again, take 4 fingers, we're gonna try to start there, toes to the wall, and for this exercise, I'm really gonna use my hands to drive my knee towards the wall, trying to keep that ankle down and then coming back, okay? We're gonna shoot for about 8 reps here, holding for about 5 seconds, and then come back. The other thing we wanna be mindful of too when we do this exercise is not letting our foot cave in. Often we want to over-pronate to try to get that little bit of extra motion to get our knee to the wall, and I want you to really think about advancing your knee straight over your toes. So we're not cheating. No cheaters here. We don't like cheaters. Let's do 2 more together. Good, and then 1 more. Awesome. Okay, let's switch sides. We'll do 8 on that other side. Again, take note of how this feels side to side. Start with about that 4 finger width distance, and then bring that knee forward, keep that heel down, and rock back. No cheating. Don't let that knee dive in, don't let that foot cave in. Make sure that knee is coming right over the toes so you're truly working on isolating that ankle dorsiflexion so we can make sure that the knee over toe mobility is where we want it to be before we jump into some exercises. Good, 2 more. And then last one here. See if you can get that knee to touch that wall. Amazing. Okay. Now we're gonna jump straight into some knee over toe exercises. Again, when we're in that position when we're skiing, our knees have to come over our toes. So we wanna make sure that now, on top of that mobility, we're building the necessary strength. We're gonna start with wall squats here. So, to get set up in this position, use a support surface, walk your toes out so that when you squat down, you're at about a 90-degree angle, okay? We're gonna do 3 of these for 30 seconds. So go ahead, join me. Get set up, squat down, and then we're gonna add in a little fun. I've got my timer going, but what I want you to try here is let your heels come up off the ground. The fun thing with this is it forces us to push our weight forward and push through our toes, which engages our quads even more. Again, our quads play a really big role in controlling our knee over toe strength. So we wanna challenge yourself, and let's see if we can get those quads to better control that motion here. Hang in there, I know those quads are burning. We got 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, come on up, shake it out. We're gonna jump right into the next one, but I'm gonna show some modifications if they're needed. Otherwise, you can jump straight into the one we just did. So if you were finding that was challenging, come on down into that squat. You can always do that wall squat with just your knees at about that 90-degree angle. Don't feel like you have to come up onto your toes quite yet. It's a challenging variation, but you can if you're up for it. The other thing that you can do too is try a bit of a staggered wall squat. So I'm putting about 75% of the work in that knee that's bent to 90. This one's doing about 25% of the work. That's another way that you can challenge some more quad stability if you're having a hard time coming up on those toes. All right, good. Stand on up. Shake it out. We got one more here. Jump on down into it and go for it. Stay low. Maybe challenge yourself on this one. See if you can get up onto the toes. Again, think about pushing through your toes. That's going to really heavily recruit your quads, which is very important for skiing. We know when we're going down those moguls, they are not kind to our quads. So let's make sure those quads are nice and strong here. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Our knee over toe exercises don't end here. We're gonna follow them up next with a goblet squat. So you can find a wedge at home. Books work really well as well. Again, your heels elevated, so we're further encouraging those knees to come over the toes. Grab your weight, grab your wedge, and we're gonna start with goblet squats. So we're here, heels are comfortably up on our elevated surface. We're gonna shoot for 3 sets of 12. So we're coming down, coming back up, okay? Now, as we're working through these reps, something that I always get asked as a PT is it okay if my knees come over my toes? And the answer is a resounding yes. We do this all the time in everyday life, right? We can't go down a curb without our knees coming over our toes. We can't go downstairs without our knees coming over our toes. So this is something we do every day, and it's also something that we need to train if we want to have strong quads and healthy knees, especially for skiing. 2 more, and last one. Good, all right, little break. Grab some water if you need to. We've got 2 more sets. So let's say that the wedge was a bit challenging. Push that wedge out to the side. Let's do a set without if you felt like the wedge was a bit challenging. Again, that wedge is gonna force our knees over our toes a little bit more, really challenge our quads, but goblet squats still with that weight up front help us to really recruit our quads as well. So this is also a perfect modification if needed. Nice, hang in there. 2 more. Good. And 1 more. Awesome. All right, little break. We got 1 more set. I'm gonna join you all with the wedge 1 more time. All right, grab that weight, last set here, and go for 1 more set of 12. Good. So while we're finishing up this last set, let's talk about ACL injuries. Another question I get asked all the time as a PT, can we prevent ACL injuries? The answer is no, but we can definitely do things to help reduce the risk factors associated with ACL injuries. One of those is strengthening our quads, which is what this exercise is doing. 2 more. And last one. Nice, okay. Set that wedge to the side. And you're gonna wanna pull out a step or some sort of elevated surface. Couch works great, chair works great. But we're gonna really start to target some of our calf muscles now. So our quads should be feeling nice and warmed up now. And before we jump into our next set of exercises to work on some calf strength, I wanna let you all know that for the next set of exercises, until the workout is done, I'm going to demonstrate 1 round of how I want you to perform the exercise, and we will put the goal set and reps up on the screen for you all to perform. While you're performing the exercises with the sets and reps that we recommend, I will be showing some modifications and variations in case you need a little bit of a change of pace for some of the exercises. We would be doing ourselves a huge disservice if we didn't spend some time working on the calf muscles. The calf muscles actually serve a really, really big role in helping to stabilize our tibia and controlled tibial translation, which helps to support the ACL as well. So grab some weight if you're up for it. We're gonna do some Bulgarian split squats here. So one leg's gonna go behind you on that support surface. Whatever stance leg you're standing on, the opposite hand can be holding that weight. We're gonna come down, and then at the end of that motion, let's push up onto those toes, come back down and up. Okay, down, toes, heel down and up. So join me for a set of 12 here. Good. Try to get low. When we come up onto those toes, again, it's forcing our knee to have to advance over our toes just a little bit, which is important for ACL health, quad health, knee health on the slopes. One more. Awesome. Okay, good job. All right, we're gonna switch and do the other leg. While we're doing the other leg, I'm gonna show you some variations that we can do when you're ready. Go ahead and jump into a set of 12 on the other side. So if you're finding that that toe raise is a little difficult, or the heel raise is a little difficult, that's fine. You can still come down. Do your normal Bulgarians. Again, we're still really working on some good quad strength here, working on some good glute strength. And I like it because it's some good single leg stability too, which is important for skiing. Good, 3 more, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, set that step to the side. All right, let's dive into some hip strength next. We just worked on our quads. Again, very important for ACL health. Now we want to make sure that we're addressing the muscles up above the knees, which are our huge glute muscles as well as our hammies. So we're gonna warm these guys up with some toe taps. Grab a loop band if you have it. You can slide it around your knees or around your ankles. If it's around your ankles, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult because you have a longer lever arm to work against. So I'm gonna start with it on my knees just because this is a warm up. So we're in a little bit of a squat position. We're gonna do forward. So we're gonna go out diagonal, straight to the side, back diagonal, and then straight back, okay? We got 30 seconds on each leg. Let's really warm up those glutes. Go ahead and join me when you're ready. Good, and you'll find as you're doing this exercise, this is always a surprise to people, but that stance leg is actually the leg you're gonna be feeling those glute muscles burning on because it's having to stabilize to not let that knee dive in as we're doing this exercise. Good, hang in there. 3, 2, and 1. All right, switch sides straight into the other side. Focus on staying low. This is great because it mimics that skiing position, right? Good, don't let that knee dive in. Don't let that band beat you and pull you in. Let's get those glutes burning. Warmed up so our knees feel strong for those slopes. You got 10 more. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, all right. Woo, slide the band off, nice work. All right, our glutes are firing. Let's make sure those hamstrings are doing their job too. So grab that weight again. We're gonna dive into some RDLs here. So again, wanna make sure that we're properly addressing the muscles above and below. Calf work, check. Glutes, check. Let's get after those hammies. So grab that weight. You're gonna start with standing on one leg. I'm gonna do a kickstand version here, so I'm gonna stick one leg behind. We're gonna hinge forward at the hips, letting that weight slide down our shin, come back up, okay? Hinge forward at the hips. Think if there's a string pulling your back pocket back, you're letting that string pull you back, come forward, okay? We're gonna shoot for 3 sets of 8. On each side, work through it at your own pace. Good, I'm gonna do 2 more here, and then we'll switch. And 1. Awesome, all right, jump into that next side. But what I'm gonna show you is a few variations here while you're tackling it. So the kickstand is there because it helps us keep balance. If you feel comfortable doing so, go ahead, let that leg come up, and then you can slide down here. We're being mindful though of keeping those hips stacked I don't want to see you opening up, okay? So stay nice and strong. Think about keeping that belly button kind of over those toes as you come down. You should feel those hammies working. Glutes are firing, they're already warmed up from our last toe tap exercise. 2 more here. And 1 more. Amazing. All right. Perfect. Moving right along. Okay. Let's get into question number 2. I get asked all the time as the PT. The first one is, should we let our knees come over our toes? And you all know the answer now. It is yes. We do this every day. The second question is, can I let my knee come in? Or what we call valgus, right? Letting that knee come in. Now this is also a yes answer as long as it is controlled. When we think about skiing, right, and we're going down moguls or whatever, we're naturally having knee valgus. We're letting those knees rock to the side, rock to the other side as you swish, swish, swish down the mountain. So controlled knee valgus is very normal and also appropriate, but we want to make sure that it is controlled and we're training the muscles to best support this motion. So we're going to grab that weight again, and we're going to do what I call a curtsy lunge. So stance leg, you're going to hold that weight in that opposite arm, and then we're going to step back and behind us in a diagonal. So we're going to come here. You can see this naturally lets the knee dive in just a bit, okay, and then come back up. What I want you all to be mindful of is keeping that pelvis stacked. I don't want to see too much rocking here when you come back, really letting that hip drop. That's not what we want. So we want to stay nice and stacked through the pelvis. Come back and forward, okay? Let's shoot for 3 sets of 10 here. I'm going to join you all each for 1 set of 10 and show a few variations and progressions while you're working through those other sets. Good. Here's 2 more. And 1. Awesome. Go ahead and switch. So if the curtsy lunge felt okay, you can continue with that progression. Let's say it felt uncomfortable or maybe you felt a little unstable. Totally fine. Let's try a few modifications here. So you can always step back into a reverse or a posterior lunge. Totally fine. The other option is work through a smaller range of motion. So we can still come back and encourage a little bit of that knee valgus or letting that knee come in, but we don't necessarily have to come all the way back into that deep curtsy lunge. So do what feels comfortable. I'm going to finish my set of 10 here. Just doing that posterior lunge. Good. 2 more. Awesome. And 1 more. All right. It wouldn't be a workout if we didn't add some plyometric. So we want to make sure that heart rate is up. We're able to be very reactive with our exercises, especially because, again, when we're skiing, we have to be reactive. We hit ice patches, right? Moguls pop up. We go through trees and we have to react. So we want to make sure that those muscles are best prepared to do so. So we're going to start with some plyometrics. The first one's going to be skier hops. So we're going to be low in that kind of skier squat position, and then we're hopping side to side. So we're here, hold. I want you all to really stick that landing, so we're controlling that knee valgus. We're not letting our hips drop, and we're letting that knee come over our toes. So we're putting it all together. Everything you all have joined me with the last few minutes comes into these exercises here. So we're 30 seconds, hop, 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 and hang in there. Stay low. If you feel comfortable, challenge yourself with hopping further. This is really going to encourage almost that curtsy lunge position. Then we have to push out of it using those glutes and explode. Good. You got 5 more. 3, 2, and 1. All right, last plyometric we're going to do is called pogos, except instead of just standing stationary and doing them, we're actually going to move side to side. This is best going to mimic skiing and make sure that our muscles are primed and our knees are strong for the slopes. So feet are going to stay together. I actually want your ankles to stay a little bit stiff and our knees to stay stiff too. So it'll look something like this. Side to side, stiff through the ankles and quick, okay? We got 30 seconds here. Join me when you're ready. Quick, 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 side to side. Light on the feet. Stiff through the ankles and knees. Good. Can we pick it up? while still maintaining control. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. All right, I'm breaking a sweat, which means I need to grab water and a towel. But remember, the best thing we can do to best prepare our knees for the slopes is making sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. This begins with exercises that help to target knee over ankle control, knee over ankle mobility, knee over ankle strength, glute strength, hamstring strength, calf strength, as well as reactivity. So if you have any further questions or are curious on more exercises you can do, check out our knee prehab program on the Prehab app today. Otherwise, I'll see you on the slopes.